time here.
You know, the people really are different. Right, Gary? Uh-oh, we got to turn him on.
Turn my mic on. There you go.
There we go.
Hey, look, we're just naturally different. I mean, we ain't never met a stranger we didn't know when we got through talking to them.
C-Spire text line. I love a good Richard Cross COVID rant full of facts. You had me saying amen like my grandmother in church. Thanks for that. We had a little Dago over the weekend.
Man, we had a lot of Talladega this weekend, and it was really good until right at the end when they had the little dust up at the end, and it kind of killed me in the fantasy there. But had a good run going. But it was really a great race. I mean, everybody was on their P's and Q's. It wasn't like a crash fest like in the past, but it was and they all ran. I mean, really clean. I mean, it was really surprising that they only had that many cautions during the race. And, of course, they were running, I mean, the front guy was running 197. Everybody else was running 201, 202 in the pack. That's just to show how fast the pack was moving along. I mean, I think the fastest the lap was that was laid down was Bubba Wallace at like 202.9 something, almost 203 miles an hour in the draft. And that is going. I mean, that's it's insane. You think 100 miles an hour is faster, but you double it.
Yeah. What's the fastest they go anywhere on the circuit?
Talladega.
Is that it?
Talladega. I mean, Talladega is a wider track, and it's a little bit longer, and they're able to wind it out there. I mean, it's always been the fastest track. I mean, yeah, you might have some tracks that's able to post a speed, for qualifying or something, but the overall, from start to finish, you are flying at Talladega.
Gary, this may be an elementary or a dumb question, so forgive me. I usually have at least one of those for you when we start talking about this.
Hey, there are no dumb questions if you don't know.
Okay, I thought you were going to say no such thing as stupid people, or no. What was it saying? No such thing as stupid questions, just stupid people who ask questions. So maybe that's where I fit in. No, I mean, look, all kinds of tracks have got different stories, right? I mean, you've got Daytona, which is famous for so many reasons, and Bristol and Martinsville and Dover and all the different tracks have got their. What is it that makes Talladega so special? And such a big deal? Is it the fans?
Yeah. I mean, the fans, let's just say the fans are a lot different fan than you might find in Texas or Atlanta. I mean, the people at Dega, I mean, they show up to party, and it's a party from Thursday until Monday morning. I mean, it's nonstop. And, of course, they always make a reference about Talladega Boulevard, which is the main old taxiway that's in the middle of the track is still paved, and that's what they call Dega Boulevard. And there's a lot of things, everything from wet T-shirt contest to horseshoes. I mean, it's everything in between goes on. And, of course, when the sun goes down, there's a lot of things that go on we don't talk about on the radio, but it's a lot cleaner than it used to be back in the late 80s and 90s. I mean, it used to be really wide open in the daytime out there, but they've calmed it down. But yeah, it's Talladega is just such a big place. And like the first time I ever went there, I was just amazed at how big the place is. I mean, we would always stay in turn 2 over there in the backside of the straightaway. And it was just so big that you could not hardly see the cars when they went to the other end of the track. They were just teeny weeny, and you had to look at the TV we had on top and to see actually what was going on. You could see just the cars were just like just ants on the other end of the track, and it would be quiet on the other end of the track, and then as they would start to come back towards you, you would have that hum, and then all of a sudden it was just that roar of all the engines. And it's nothing. I mean, it's no way to explain when they start the race, when all those engines come up on RPM and they start the race, your stomach just feels like a basketball. I mean, you're just like excited, but it's just a feeling that comes over you. And I think everybody that goes to these races, when the races start, everybody kind of has that feeling.
How many times have you been?
6, 7.
When's the last time you went?
2001.
Ooh.
Yep, that was the last time.
Is it time to go again?
It is. I mean, it's. I'd like to go back. It's changed a little bit from when we used to go. They've made a lot of improvement to some of the RVs, parking and all, and they've put up new fencing. And when we first started going there, you could get right down. I mean, almost to the main catch fence. They had a fence just 12 or 15 feet away from it, and you could go down there and get you some really close-up pictures with your camera. But they took all that fencing down and moved it back probably 30 yards or so away from the main fencing that's on the side of the track, just for protection, because they, God forbid a car come over the top of the fence, but you never know, because I mean they had a wreck and the car went up in the air, and I mean it crashed, flipped, tore all the pieces, and Joey got out, and no harm, no foul.
All right, we get a message on the C Spire text line. My boss and I in Tate County will be going on a business trip in the fall. Both of our first times to Talladega. I'm assuming that means either they are being taken by a customer or they are taking customers. So let's for this person and for me, who's never been to Talladega, first time reaction. What will it be?
Blown away. I mean, let's just say when you drive.
By the way, a buddy of mine text said, "Would you please go with Gary and camp and do the show from there?"
Oh, we'd love to do that. I mean, JT and I used to always scam, and we had the old buses that how could we get over, go over there and do the show from the infield at Talladega.
Yeah. Putting a setup on top of the bus in the infield of Talladega would be the greatest show that you've ever done.
Oh, it would be
just describing what you see. Like, you don't even have to talk about the race because the race won't be going on, obviously. But
right.
You just people watching and telling the listeners what you're seeing would be the best show you've ever done.
Oh, people watching! It's one of the best locations in the world of people watch. I mean, you'll see.
Gary, you think we could get permission to park the bus in the infield?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, let's just say that we work in the right media, as they say. We're radio, and let's just say you can get media passes and. Maybe could get over there by the either on the back wall where they park all the big buses up on the berm where they've taken all the grandstands down on the back straightaway and turned it into big RV parking. And, that's the buses you see up on the back straightaway way up in the air, which that looks like that'd be kind of a neat place to be because, I mean, you're right on the side of the track. You're at your bus. But anywhere you go to Talladega is just, I mean, it's phenomenal. I mean, the crowds outside are just. I mean, there's campgrounds everywhere. It's just people everywhere. It's over 100,000 people just in the surrounding area of there. I mean, it's really impressive. And of course, the airport's right behind the race. And it's like after the race, and you're sitting there waiting to get out of the infield, you see all these fancy Learjets and Citations and everything taking off, and that's the teams flying the drivers back to North Carolina.
We get a message that says that would be no less than an R-rated show.
No.
Hearing you try to censor what you're seeing.
Well, you don't look. During the daytime, it's family. It's all PG.
Hold on, Gary. We'll keep hanging out if you're cool with it.
That's cool. We can hang out.
Giggity. The consensus, Gary, seems to be that we should go.
Yep. I mean, it's definitely a once in a lifetime. If you go once, you'll fall in love with it. I mean, it's like I said, it's no describing it to somebody that's never been. I mean, it's kind of like trying to describe a baseball game or a football game if nobody's ever been to a football game or a baseball game.
Spring or fall?
Either one.
Which one's better?
The spring one is always kind of a crapshoot on getting rain and all, and October's always perfect weather. Since they moved it to October from July, both of them are good races. Only trouble is October is in the middle of football season.
Yeah, I was going to say that does create a little bit of a problem, and it's not like it's real easy to get in and out.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I guess we could do the show Thursday and Friday, and then, I mean, it kind of wouldn't be right if I went and then didn't stay for the race, though, right?
Oh yeah, you'd miss Saturday night.
Oh, is Saturday night the big night? That's the night that it all hangs out?
That's the night that everybody lets their hair down. Let's just say. and
got
it
a lot
gets
of folks.
long.
Yeah. See, Talladega needs to be on your bucket list. That's on the C-Spire text line.
Podcasting was a perfect platform for Gary's Talladega stories. Let's put it that way. The FCC doesn't regulate the podcast platform.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, we'd keep it PC.
I understand.
It wouldn't be no pictures sent out though.
Keselowski this weekend?
Yes, he stole it. Of course, he's won like 4 or 5 times in the last 3 years or so. So he's Mr. Talladega right now. I mean, he's proved himself. I mean, he was one of the favorites going in. But I mean, Talladega's such a crapshoot anyway. I mean, it's like anytime anything can happen. One car can take out 28 cars in one foodle, just one slip of the steering wheel, and boom, half the field's in the wall. But it didn't really happen. I mean, they had a few minor crashes and all, but nothing compared to what Talladega usually is. I mean, several years ago, it wiped out 28 of the 38, 39 cars. I mean, 28 of them was taken out in one wreck.
What percentage of people that are going to Talladega or Daytona are going because they want to see a wreck versus, no, I'd rather not see a wreck. I'd rather see a great race?
I don't know. I never was one to go to a race to watch a wreck. I mean, I just never. I mean, yeah, the wrecks occurred, and yeah, you wanted to try to catch them on film because that was a moment in time. It was kind of like shooting lightning. Yeah, you could see if you get it, but just all the pictures and stuff that I took through the years. I mean, it's memories. I mean, of course, we had garage passes and stuff, and you get to walk through all the garages and see what they were doing. And back in them days, that's when they would just basically tear the car apart and rebuild it from the time they qualified till the time they raced. I mean, they changed motors, rear ends, exhaust pipes, shocks, spindles. I mean, the whole car was changed. Well, NASCAR, they started changing all that, and that's how we've gotten to where we're at now. And of course, with the COVID, they found out that, hey, we just unload them and throw a coupling about lap 35, a competition cost, and bring them in and check the tires, make sure everybody's, okay, and turn them loose again. And everybody seems to have wrapped their arms around it and really enjoyed it. I mean, it's really improved the racing. I mean, it's dog eat dog every stage that they race. It's no riding around anymore. It used to be you might ride around, half the race, and then you get serious about it and try to go to the front. Well, now it's like they fighting for tooth and nail from the drop of the green flag to the checkered flag.
Yeah. Kansas this coming weekend, that doesn't really sound all that exciting.
It's a 1.5-mile cookie cutter track. I mean, it's kind of like.
So not very exciting.
Well, no, I mean,
especially when you got Darlington and Dover the next 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah. And then a week or so after that, we're going to the Austin, Texas, to the road course there. That's the first time that NASCAR's ever gone to Austin.
So is this a pretty big – okay, so let's just throw Kansas out. I'm just saying it's boring. Darlington, Dover, Austin, Charlotte, Sonoma. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty good 5-week stretch, isn't it?
It is. And now I have to say the Darlington race is going to be a throwback paint scheme. So all the drivers will have basically paint schemes from like the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever. And I mean, it's like today, the Hendricks team was releasing some of the photos of the 24 team, and it's going to have the 74 paint job from back in the 88 when it was a Valvoline car, and it's going to be running the Valvoline logo. So, I mean, it's cool for NASCAR to do that and let the teams have some fun with, throwback paint schemes, and it just adds just a layer of collectability, I reckon, to selling die-cast cars. I reckon they sell more if you make more. But it's kind of interesting. It's just novelty, but still, it's cool to see. I mean,
Gary, we're out of time. I'm sorry to cut you off. We're going to a break. We'll talk soon, my friend.